Philippines may be the focus for 9-ball, and the sport may well consider this country and this city to be the spiritual home of pool. But amongst all the homegrown talent, there's an invasion of European players who threaten to steal the thunder of the home nation in the PartyPoker.net World Cup of Pool. There is plenty to cheer for the locals, based mainly on the exploits of their heroes, Reyes and Bustamante. They are through to the quarterfinals and on course for a record-breaking third title. Plenty of other well-established nations are in the running, amongst them China and the USA. But the Europeans are here, and here in force. They may well have lost the defending champions Germany, but the team who beat them, Finland, can now make a solid case for the title. England are still in contention, having dropped just 4 racks in 2 matches. And coming up, the clash between two sides who can both claim to be the emerging nations on the world stage, Poland and Holland. The Dutch have provided plenty of talented individuals, but as a team they've struggled in the latter stages of the World Cup. Quarter-finalists in the past, but as recently as 2011 they went out in the first round. This time they had to endure a nail-biting opening encounter with Croatia.
Of course, if you're 7-4 down, you're not the favorite to win it, but I felt confident that we're going to shoot the right shots, and if we play well, we still have a chance.
You need some luck to win, and we made all the balls and got some rolls, but yeah, that's what pool is about, and we were very happy to win.
Poland is enjoying a resurgence in 9-ball. Year on year, their players are making their presence felt in this team event. 2 quarter-final appearances in the last 2 years, and a third within touching distance after a solid win over Australia, and looking forward to their clash with the Dutch.
Wojciech made spectacular shot under the pressure in the last rack, and that's we made the next round.
Huidji is current world champion 10-ball. Nick Vandenberg is a European champion from the past year, and of course they have many titles and they're favorites in this match, but we're not gonna give up for sure.
It's a race to 8, Scotch doubles with the winners breaking. Holland were the first to register despite Poland winning the lag. The second proved to be an error-strewn rack as both sides attempted to get the better in the safety exchange. Poland emerged after a Dutch mistake to level the scores as we joined them in the third rack. Commentary for this match comes from Alex Laley and Phil Yates.
Honours even then so far. Here's rack number 3. Wojciech Szewczyk breaking off. And breaking off more than reasonably well.
We've seen Szewczyk and Skowerski in their first round match hitting the ball very hard. I wonder, it would be interesting to ask them if they have practiced on hitting the cut break so hard, because that really requires skill to hit so hard and keep the cue ball on the table.
If you look at their respective career records, the 4 players, you would assume that this is going to be pretty much a walkover for Holland. But if you did that, you'd be making a big mistake, because the Poles are accomplished players and their career graphs are on the up.
On the Euro Tour, players like Skowerski and Szewczyk now as well, having reached the final in the Austrian Open 3 months ago. The Polish players, they take down big names. Regularly, one of them will get to a semi-final, but none of them thus far entering the winner's circle, except for Wojciech Trajdos, who a couple of years back in Liberec won a tour stop. A surprise actually, because he's not a household name in Poland, Trajdos. The usual suspects being Skowerski, Snigocki, Babica. Now we can add to that Wojciech Szewczyk, a multiple European junior champion.
Yes, and one of a handful of teenagers competing in this tournament, and I think out of all of them, he seems to have the most poise around the table. Every time you break and run a rack, particularly in this Scotch doubles format, Scotch doubles is the pool name for alternate shot. Every time you break and run a rack, it gives you that extra impetus. And there's no way that Skowerski is going to miss this. In it goes, and so the Poles, having been 1-0 down, establish a 2-1 lead. They are looking a useful outfit. Team Holland know they've got a match on their hands. Tough match to call this. I think everyone would agree on that. One thing we do know for certain, though, this is right at the bottom half of the draw, right in the bottom segment of this PartyPoker.net World Cup of Pool second round lineup. And what we do know is that we're going to have a European semi-finalist guaranteed in the tournament, because Holland or Poland will play in the quarterfinals, either Switzerland or Italy.
So on paper there, of those four teams, Huidji and Nick van der Berg of the Netherlands, the best, but that is only on paper. If you're totaling the individual status of the players, but in Scotch doubles, there's also the chemistry, the click between the two players that is elementary. And in the history of this championship, it has never clicked for the Netherlands.
You might need to come out of retirement, Alex.
Well, actually, this year I can participate in the European Seniors Championships, which, if I win the title, would give me a wild card to the World Championship. So actually, I'm trying to get in through the back door.
So that terrible cliche that you're swapping the microphone for the cue. It's usually the other way around. These two are good mates. They're well acquainted with each other, even though they aren't near neighbours back home in Poland. Szewczyk is from the capital city, Warsaw. Skowerski is from the south-central town of Kielce, which has been selected as the venue for this year's World Pool Masters, taking place in just a couple of weeks' time. Skowerski will be in the lineup. So for that matter, well, Szewczyk and the experience gained from that will be invaluable. And that's also the case here.
I remember playing my first televised tournaments for in matchroom events. I had a tough time getting used to the setting and the cloth. A little more adrenaline in the arm and a very slick cloth, but Szewczyk right from the get-go looking in total control. It's a very smooth delivery. So that's one, and also in the safety and kicking department looks to be very knowledgeable.
When I think about Poland in World Cups, as a proud Englishman, I still recall the fact they denied us a place in the '74 World Cup, football that is, in Germany, when the final qualifying match at Wembley, with a goalkeeper called Jan Tomaszewski. A well-known English football manager, Brian Clough, described him as a clown afterwards. The two poles here are not clowns, and I'll tell you what, Team Holland aren't smiling. Poland looking good early on. They lead 3-1. More from Manila after the break. We've witnessed a good start from Team Poland in this second round match in the partypoker.net World Cup of Pool. Wojciech Szewczyk and Karol Skowerski have established a 3-1 lead over the more fancied Team Holland, and Szewczyk breaking off in rack number 5.
Monstrous break again by Wojciech, but the kiss between the cue ball and the 7 made the 7 not pass the head string, so that's an illegal break.
I know what you're saying, Alex, but remember, 2 balls potted, and the 3, or should I say the 5 is over the line, and so I think they're okay.
Both balls building up a nice momentum, having made 2 break and runs consecutively. But now they'll have to leave the table to Nick and Huidji. They leave a shot on, but the cue ball will travel back up table again, and then the 4 will have no pocket to shoot at. Pocket being blocked by the 8 ball.
Yes, if you're a little confused there, what happened was they pushed out off the break, and when you push out you can pot a ball even out of sequence, and so even though the 5 went down, it wasn't a foul shot. Holland deciding that they don't fancy the look of this table, and so giving it back to Poland.
No, you pushed. You pushed it. No, yeah, you pushed the shot, didn't you? Yeah, you back in. Yeah.
So the player pushing out, if getting it back, will be the player to take the shot on.
Tension call.
2 options. Hitting the 2 ball full in the face and then stopping the cue ball right there. It's very difficult and risky. If they go for a half ball hit to try and end the cue ball and the 2 ball long rail would be a safer option, but how can I argue with this? You see, the 2 ball went in the direction of the pocket. That's the risk, but he was so confident of getting that full ball hit, took it on and played it to perfection. This is another mental blow to the Dutch. Having been on the receiving end of 2 break and runs, then the push out, and denied a shot here. It's a relatively easy target to hit, especially if they go 3 rails. They'll go over the pocket. And the 2 ball being 1 ball distance away from the rail makes a very big target. 3-1 underdog Nick van der Berg to resave on this shot.
Will he settle for it?
Well, it could have been worse. Depends if the rail first shot is on, and it is.
Nice lad, Nick van den Berg. Very polite, very intense, wants success badly. But here, struggling to achieve it. The lack of Dutch success in this World Cup is even more surprising when you consider the contributions made by players from the Netherlands in winning Mosconi Cup efforts. People like Niels Feijen, Mosconi Cup MVP, Nick Vandenberg has been on winning teams as well. And of course yourself, Alex. You've been there, masterminding the whole thing.
Confident shot there to play it to the corner. Corners play more generous than the side pocket, so it was a smart option. And Wojciech Szewczyk taking his eye off of the shot. All his focus went to the collision with the 8 ball to ensure a full ball contact. Sloppy, that is.
Well, this is the 23rd match of the tournament, and I think if you put together a top 10 of worst misses, that would be in there. For me, number 1 would be Mika Immonen's missed 9 ball, which ultimately didn't matter against the Germans. But in light of the way he'd been playing, that really was astonishing. And for the Dutch, a real boost. It really does appear as though their deficit is going to be just a single rack. Nick Vandenberg could pop these in his sleep. Remains awake though, knocks it in. And the Dutch challenge is reinvigorated. Team Poland still in front, but now only 3-2. And of course, the Dutch have the break in rack number 6. Mind you, they did make the most of it. They came up dry. It gave the Poles a chance, and they grabbed it. Skowerski and his partner Szewczyk potting well. What about rack 7? But it all came down to the 8 ball. Tension-filled mistakes from both teams. In the end, Nick Vandenberg just about scrambles it in. Huidji C pots the 9 ball. And so, here we are, live with rack 8, and still just 1 between these two sides. Poland narrowly ahead.
I like Huidji and Nick to start breaking like the Poles. Hitting hard. That's it. Very good break here by Huidji. Corner ball in. 1 ball in, but the 5 ball ruining the party. No shot on the 2 ball.
I think that's the most galling thing, isn't it, when you make a really good break like that and the balls open up. The last roll of the last ball on the table being the denying roll.
Comes with the game though. If you let that influence your mindset, then you'll be in a constant roller coaster. Even in 9 ball, when you play safety, you're never safe. Anything can happen. So you can never relax.
So when William Shakespeare was talking about the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, he'd probably just been down the pool hall and had a few racks. Mind you, of course, in those days the rack had a different connotation.
possibly the option to bank the 2 ball back in between the 3 and 4 and let that cue ball roll forward towards the short rail, or bank the 2 ball back down using 2 rails, passing the 6 ball. Oh, what an execution. It's very difficult, I find, to, on shots like this, control the speed of the object ball. Szewczyk needed to dig into that cue ball, but he played it, well, he played a super shot here. This, to me, tells that Szewczyk is an accomplished safety player. And that's not a bad turn of things. Good hit by Huidji. And anytime you make a good hit on the ball, you have a chance to get lucky.
The gentleman just obscured between the two players in the crowd there is a member of the Polish delegation. He's in the red shirt. He's wearing a camera around his neck, not taking shots at the incorrect time.
Oh, and the shot was on. And this is a big let off by Skowerski, who has looked so good thus far. Took his eye off the ball. Can't think of any other reason. Did not jump up in the shot. Delivery was good. So these are mistakes that you need to pound on.
Awkward cueing, but the 2 ball in close proximity to the pocket. Just pleading with the cue ball to stop in time for Huidji to be able to pop the 3 to the middle, and he can.
So using the rail now to come in towards the 5 ball, and depending on the exact angle, Huidji can drop it in, landing on the right side of the 6. This is all straightforward from here. Great opportunity to level the scores and get that rhythm going.
And this is the second comeback from the Dutch in as many matches, because they were 3-1 down here. Now on the verge of making it 4-4. And remember, in round 1, they were through by their skin of their teeth, beating Croatia 8-7 from 7-4 adrift. Nick Berg stands up to the pressure. He and Huidji are now back on level terms. It's 4-4 and another thriller developing here in Manila. Welcome back everyone to the partypoker.net World Cup of Pool. It's a second round contest between Holland and Poland. Nothing to choose between them. 4-4. Holland, though, did trail 3-1. And you just sense that their greater experience at the moment is making a difference.
And again, one of the last balls rolling, destroying the party there, because they had a shot on the 2. Then the 8 ball blocking it or kissed into the cue ball, but at least they have a clear view of the 2, are close to it, so they really should should play a good safety here. Cue ball hit the knuckle and bounce back up table. Is it a bad roll? Is it something that Huidji could have taken care of? I don't know, but Wojciech now the initiative. Put Nick really close to the 7. It's still jumpable. Nick has a very special jump cue with a tip on both sides, and there's one side to make normal jump shots, and with the others you would use a dart stroke and jump over a ball as close as the 7 is right here. Good hit though, good effort by Nick. A shot on for the Polish. They need to manipulate though that cue ball and the 7. Avoid it or run into it. They were discussing the safety, so for me, it would be difficult to not take the shot on if it's cuttable. I would throw the dice.
Well, we're going to see history repeat itself, because in the previous rack it was Skowerski missing the 2 that allowed the Dutch to the table. Well, not even trying that one. Intent on containment.
And that's a big miss by Huidji. Skowerski played the safe. He failed, and then you need to punish. What a let off here.
Well, it's a pretty much guaranteed 2-5 combination. Just a matter of how delicately you can play it to retain position on the 2 when the 5 goes in. That's okay. Especially with the 3 nicely out in the open. Good opportunity this for the Poles to retake the lead.
This is a mental blow for Nick and Huidji. Digging so deep to make that comeback. Having made the comeback, the chance to take the lead. They missed the 2. Just when the Poles were starting to look a little more vulnerable.
Well, Skowerski has a shot on the pink 4 ball. But they've got to get up for the 6. The green 6 at the other end of the table.
Has to load this up with left spin. Nicely done.
Well, the last couple of racks look like being a tale of 2 missed 2 balls. Skowerski in rack 8. And now Huidji see his mistake looks like being pounced on.
Let alone the score configuration, but for Huidji, missing a shot like that, it will hurt his confidence. Maybe he'll have more trouble to trust his automatic pilot, but Szewczyk, pressure kicking in.
Well, that's interesting, because the howler he made on the 6th ball a little while ago was when he undercut it, and he undercut that one as well, straight into the cushion. What a mistake. And again, what a bonus for the Dutch. They look like facing another deficit. Now though, they go in front, 5-4, and that really is a crushing blow to Poland and to the self-belief of Wojciech Szewczyk in particular. The 8 ball should not have been missed in a month of Sundays. There's the Italians looking on if they can overcome Team Switzerland in the second round. Bruno Moratori and Fabio Petroni will play the winners of this contest.
Rack 10, Holland to break, leading 5 racks to 4.
And I think they like what they are seeing. Open shots missed by both sides. Great break off, and what is the 3 ball doing? This time a clear view, but the 8 ball on the other side of the lowest numbered ball to spoil the party.
Well, an unintentional 3-6 combination, and one that Nick van den Berg didn't really want, because look at the distance between the cue ball and the red 3.
Huidji taking on the double. Could have played it at a slower pace, using the 4 ball. Then would have been a big ball and a big chance to block the missed 3. They're still looking anxious out there, Nicky and Huidji. But the favor returned already. The Poles look in all sorts of trouble.
Yes, without any doubt, this is their worst spell of the tournament so far. At times they weren't exactly convincing in the first round, overcoming Australia 8-6. When you bear in mind that Australia have never won a single match in this tournament, it was a pretty good draw, and they made hard work of it. And they're making hard work of this.
Just make the shot, Nick says. It's always dangerous to tell your partner to just make the shot.
Danger, danger. 9 ball obstructing.
This 5 ball does not cut. Nick van den Berg looking at an aggressive option now to cross bank it. It's very parallel to the banking lane, so relatively easy shot to feel.
We're seeing more loose pool, more mistakes, more misjudgments, more blunders in this match than I think any other second round contest so far.
Yes, Phil, neither team is using the other party's mistakes as a medicine to calm the nerves.
But that's more like it from Szewczyk. Cueing with authority there.
Nicely struck. Now Skowerski can play low left. 2 rails, has to hit it smooth. If he doesn't trust his timing on the shot, he can play high left and come around 4 rails, around the 9, in towards the 8 ball.
After what's occurred so far, I'm taking nothing for granted. Remember, in the previous rack, Szewczyk missed the 8 ball down the rail when he should have floated it in with consummate ease.
And that's quality right there. Cue ball coming in across the pocketing line of the 9. So sensitive there, the speed control. Sets his partner Skowerski up perfectly.
Yes, and the Poles equalise. It's 5-5, and it's a hazardous occupation to suggest who is going to win this one. Really, it is anyone's guess. This second round match in the PartyPoker.net World Cup of Pool has been full of mistakes by both sides, but it's made compelling viewing. Now, what about rack number 11? Well, lots of tension out there. Poland committed a foul on the 6th ball, and with ball in hand, no one was surprised when the Dutch cleared up to take the lead at 6-5. Their break-off, though, is proving rather frustrating. They can't get any real rhythm going, nothing sustained. This time, it was the turn of the Dutch to err late on. They missed the 6th ball. And Holland and Poland are now locked together at 6-6. As we join the action halfway through rack number 13. And this has been a rather prolonged safety exchange. And one which could prove out to be absolutely crucial in the final analysis.
Here, try and look at Nick's jump cue. There's a tip on both sides. So depending on the distance between the object ball and the cue ball, he chooses what side to break with. Here's the dart stroke.
Well, to use a darts analogy, that was like hitting the rim and the dart coming back and landing on the floor. That's how the morale of the Dutch is at the moment on the floor, because Poland have an obvious get out here.
I feel I can be severe with Nick and Huidji, both being buddies of mine, former colleagues, but Nick managed to even move his body on the jump shot. They've been very anxious in this match, and now it's slipping away from them, because a 1 rack lead in a race to 2, which the Polish are looking to build now, that is big in a match like this.
They are the 10th seeds, Poland, but Alex, I think it would be fair to say that of the top 10 seeds, these two players would be the least well known. Maybe Chinese Taipei would also be in that category, but they're not internationally famous.
Chinese Taipei, at least, manages in this tournament to play like underdogs, not feeling the pressure are feeling the pressure, but at least performing. But the Poles have been as anxious as Team Holland. But at least they're one up and on the hill.
Yes, and now hoping to repeat what they did in the first round when they beat Australia 8-6 with an at times unconvincing performance. I suppose you want to produce your best pool towards the end of a tournament, that is, the end of a match. Now can the teenager Szewczyk and his slightly older partner Skowerski get the job done?
So what's the shot? Fierce break off from the 18-year-old. 3 balls down. It's a long shot to a blind pocket on the 2 ball. But the 4 ball is sitting ready in front of the pocket. Good shot to take on. And in pool, knowing that you're never really safe wherever you put the cue ball, offense, when in doubt, is the way to go.
In the first round, shocks were a rarity. Philippines A, the number 2 seeds, were beaten by Switzerland. In the second round, the defending champions, the number 1 seeds, Germany, they've been eliminated, but Holland would be the next highest seeds to bite the dust. They're number 7, but after that missed 2 ball from Skowerski, that's a ball that's caused him particular problems in the match. Maybe, Alex, the pendulum right there has swung.
Let the clockwork orange start to tick. This is a big chance. The 4 ball will be a certainty. The task for Nick to control that 2 ball. Is there a straight shot on? A real first shot. I like Nick Huidji taking this shot. Huidji plays a lot of one pocket and this sort of shot comes up a lot. Still new cloth. Reacts differently. New cloth, and it's not just new cloth, it's a TV table. It's very slick. And that ball slid more than Huidji had estimated, resulting in a fuller contact on the 2. This is a gimme for Poland.
Wow. Distance though between the cue ball and their next part, which is over the head string, under pressure, eminently missable.
Attention call.
I think he's sensible here to call for the 35-second shot clock extension. Needs extra time just to settle himself down, because this is also not just distance but hampered cueing as well.
Quality when most needed. Lacking an inch or 5 to set Szewczyk up perfectly for the 6. This is missable. We've seen easier shots being missed this match.
Okay, Matthias Snigocki and Radoslav Babica reached the quarterfinals for Poland in 2009. This new pairing are just about to equal their nation's personal best in this tournament. In the first round, in commentary, myself and Alex described the Dutch in the World Cup as being serial underachievers. And that continues. Another early exit for the orange team. The future's bright for Poland, but the future is not bright for the Dutch. 8-6. The teenager and Karol Skowerski go through.
Poland confirm their growing reputation with yet another quarter-final appearance and the chance to test themselves against either Italy or Switzerland in the partypoker.net World Cup of Pool.